Okay, it's recording.
Okay, yeah, give it a push.
If it's
There.
the green light,
Do you want to,
and you gotta talk in it.
Oh, yeah, I can do the roll
call the
call.
roll, or should I just call them, have them, call them?
I can do the roll call for you if you want. Yeah, so if you want me,
Okay, let's do that.
sure.
Okay.
You're not supposed to have this on it, but I do.
All right, we're recording. All right, the Board of Public Works meeting for Tuesday, January 25th, 2022 is hereby called to order at 6:30 PM. Roll call, Mr. Katz.
Alderperson Bailey,
Here.
Alderperson Akers,
Present.
Alderperson Collins,
Present.
John Rivera,
Present.
and John Graber.
Present.
And also present, we have Superintendent John Laskowski and Brian Haas, the
Brian
city
Haas.
engineer. Okay, approval of November 23rd, 2021 meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Collins.
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Graber. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm abstaining. I wasn't
And what-
Oh,
here.
yeah, that's right.
Pam Akers is abstaining. All in favor, all those opposed? Motion's carried. All right, citizen commentary. None today. Item number 5, discussion and decision to approve paying a portion of wetland mitigation costs for Infinity Development's approved Great Life Senior Development on approximately 118th Street and Edgerton Avenue.
Okay, Infinity Development is proposing a 132 unit approximately senior living development near 118th and Edgerton. And the design and layout of the site will have an impact of some of the wetlands in that area. All efforts were made by the developer to keep those wetland impacts to a minimum. This was approved by the Plan Commission. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources is requiring the developer to mitigate some of the wetland impacts. Mitigation is accomplished by purchasing credits from a wetland bank. So they actually have to pay because they're having those wetland impacts. So based on map records of the site, historical and current, the developer has determined through engineering analysis that the overall size of the wetland areas on the property increased in 2014 after the city reconstructed the existing neighborhood to the west. So in 2014, we went into that neighborhood west of this new development and we put in curb and gutter, sewer, resurfaced the streets. And when you do that, it changes the wetland, it changes the drainage patterns slightly. So specifically, the impacted wetland areas on this development requiring mitigation increased by 13,300 square feet as a result of the city's project. So that was the impact that the city had when they did that resurfacing. So the developer is asking the city pay for the wetland mitigation credits in proportion to the increase caused by the project. So you know, they want us to basically participate in the cost because we caused that parcel to have more wetland that now needs to be mitigated. The developer is also asking that the city pay for a culvert, metal or concrete, needed to drain water that flows from that existing neighborhood through the property. So the neighborhood to the west, the existing neighborhood, water flows across this parcel that's going to be developed. And the owner that owns that's doing the development has owned that parcel prior to that 2014. So financial impact is the city would pay $34,365 for the wetland credits and $7,100 for that culvert. And those funds would come from the stormwater utility account. Stormwater utility is the appropriate account to use for this because this is a stormwater issue. And staff recommends that that we make that we do pay those costs.
I do have a question
Sure.
with regards, is that normal for us to have to pay?
Well, the situation here is when that the owner that owns and is developing this land, when we did our project a couple of years ago in 2014, we caused that additional wet water to be deposited on that property.
Okay.
So that's what's causing this increased cost to him to do his
Okay, that
development.
makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. I'll
And we
make a
know that
motion to move,
By the
oh,
flow,
And we know that based on we have the records of what was there prior to 2014 because all that is mapped on our official mapping and there's other sources of mapping that show that. And then they've since, analyzed and had wetland delineation done and determined that how much it's increased. So they had to do a pretty thorough analysis, and there was field work to determine the amount of wetland that needs to be mitigated.
but when we do storm water, it usually helps runoff, right? When we put in storm sewers for that subdivision, that usually helps runoff.
Well, it takes water away from the homes, but it deposited somewhere. In this case, we deposited it onto this person's property or this developer's property. So we basically took the water from the subdivision and through storm sewer directed it across that property.
To the east?
To the east, yeah. I don't know, John, what's the name of that subdivision? Do you know? Winter Park.
okay.
Well, Winter Park is the newer one to the west, or to the north.
Same as Florida. Florida has a city named like.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, my grandma used to live there.
Winter Park.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll
Okay,
second that motion.
Collins, here a second?
I second that motion.
Rivera? Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Should
Aye.
we do a roll call on this because it's money, or is that?
No,
No,
we
don't
would
have to.
just
Okay,
do
all
a-
those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion's carried. Item number 6, discussion and decision to adopt the watershed restoration plan for the Oak Creek watershed as set forth in SEW RPC Community Assistance Planning Report number 330.
Okay. Okay, so I have a little summary of this report that I can show you after I just go through the committee sheet here. But the Oak Creek watershed is located in Milwaukee County and includes portions of the cities of Greenfield, Cudahy, Franklin, Milwaukee, Oak Creek, and South Milwaukee. So a very small portion of the Oak Creek watershed is in Greenfield, but we're a part of this study nonetheless. The city of South Milwaukee, Milwaukee County, and the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewage District executed an agreement with the Regional Planning Commission, Sewer PAC, on January of 2016 for development of a watershed restoration plan for the Oak Creek. The plan contains recommendations to address issues and problems related to water quality, recreational access and use, habitat, and problems related to funding, as well as the status of the Oak Creek Mill,
Flooding, right, not funding, right?
mill pond, excuse me?
You said funding, it should be flooding, right?
Oh, sorry, flooding. And the status of the Oak Creek Mill Pond and Mill Pond Dam in the Oak Creek watershed. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that mill pond and the dam in South Milwaukee. It's pretty, it used to be popular,
Yes.
used to be pretty popular recreation area. I think people fished and swam there and stuff. I remember that as a kid. The recommendations, including all studies, data, maps, figures, charts, tables, are set forth in a published report entitled Sewer Pack Community Assistance Planning Report number 330, and it's about 500 pages long if you want to see it online. But
Read it to us, no, sorry.
published in December 21. City of Greenfield's staff have supported and generally concurred with the watershed and other regional planning programs undertaken by the Southeast Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission and believes the watershed restoration plan for the Oak Creek watershed is a valuable guide to the development not only of the watershed but for the community. Adoption of such a plan by Greenfield will assure a common understanding by several government levels and agencies concerned and enable these levels and agencies of government to program the necessary area-wide local plan implementation work. So all they're asking us to do is adopt this watershed plan. They're not asking for us to fund anything or anything like that, just to
And then
show
we'll
that.
come later and ask us for money, right?
Well, you'll see, when you look at the map, you'll see that there's not a whole lot of
The small
part of it
section.
that's in Greenfield, yeah.
Mostly in Oak Creek.
Conkle Park or not?
Yeah, we have
No,
like,
no, it's
Less than.
it's
any of
near,
the-
closer
Oh,
to,
yeah, it's just the,
closer to
like, the very
27th
tip.
Street.
It's right here.
Yeah, there's less land than any of the other cities that are impacted by this versus Oak Creek.
Yeah,
Just have
it's,
that little,
that little itty
yeah.
bitty,
very small.
yeah, there.
So if there would be any cost in the near future, hopefully it'd be very slim.
Yeah.
Empty the penny jar for them.
And if there were any projects done, that had any cost to us, they would be because they would somehow benefit Greenfield. So, you can see on this executive summary, on the map, I circled in red where the city of Greenfield's light blue portion is there. That sharp dividing line there, that's 27th Street. The majority of it is in Oak Creek, hence the name Oak Creek Watershed. And Grand Park is I have put a little arrow showing where Grand Park is there. And that's pretty close to where that mill dam is.
Right.
Yeah, so, this is just a summary. Like I said, the report's like 400 pages long, but talks about the watershed plan and how it gives recommendations to improve the Oak Creek, all those tributaries, and the watershed as a whole. And they're talking about implementing this plan over a course of, say, 30 years. So this is a long-range plan. And the Oak Creek Watershed Restoration Plan focuses on 4 things: on water quality, habitat conditions, recreational access and use, and flooding. Seems like most people, when it happens, are concerned about flooding, but what people that have given input on the plan are also concerned or enthused about is recreational opportunities. So why is the Oak Creek watershed in need of this plan or in need of help? And it's because historical modifications to stream channels, loss of wetland, increases in impervious surfaces due to urbanization. Impairments include excessive stream bed and bank erosion, sedimentation, and loss of in-stream habitat. And you can see, I mean, like on this picture, when you get out into some of these streams, you feel like maybe you're up north, but really you're in the middle of the city. So this is probably somewhere in Oak Creek.
Can I
And-
ask you, Jeff, have we ever done a similar endeavor with anybody else with regards to this? Maybe not this size, but.
There's been planning studies for other waterways that are in Greenfield, like the Wildcat Creek, for example.
Thank you.
And then the existing, so recreational access, right now within this watershed, there's 1,165 acres of Milwaukee County parkland, 12 miles of the Oak Leaf Trail, many other parks and open spaces, that mill pond and its warming house, and fishing access. Interested plan participants identified the desire for high-quality trails to support walking, hiking, and bicycling, and restoration of that mill pond. And you can see again some photos that show how nice it can look along the Oak Creek and its tributaries. And then it just goes through plan recommendations regarding water quality, habitat, recreational use, and addressing flooding. So like I said, if anybody wants to see the whole plan, it's on SewerPAC's website. Now that because these plans are so large, rather than print copies, they refer you to their website.
Saving some trees there. So we need a motion to adopt it.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to adopt the watershed restoration plan for Oak Creek watershed.
A motion by Alderperson Akers, is there a second?
I will second.
Second by Alderperson Collins. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, number 7, Superintendent of Public Works report.
Good evening, thank you. Most recently, we've been involved in some sanitary sewer televising for upcoming summer projects, as well as forestry and hazardous tree removals, as well as a stump grinding that goes along with that, some structural pruning as well. The Arborist Conference is coming up. We intend on sending 3 staff up there in February for that. There's CEUs included in that for our certified arborists that we have on staff, and it's good knowledge for the other guys that go too. We've also responded to and prepped for the recent snow events. We've had some good results and a great effort by our staff under some challenging conditions with the temperature drops and things like that. And it's gone pretty well. We've also done, we're in the middle of doing some updates and painting in the HR conference room. That has some, as well as this room, has some original upholstery and things like that. So Jeff and I are planning and pecking away at little projects like that, and that's going very well. We continue to recruit and onboard some of our new staff here. As I said, the snow plowing results were pretty good. We had four guys in routes this time that weren't on routes last year. So very good results by those guys. So kudos to them. I'd also like to acknowledge a couple of our senior operators, one that's retired and one who's retiring at the end of this week. Gary Pleur retired January 4th, and James Clary, he'll be retiring, his last day in person is this Friday. They're involved in our electrical services portion of our department. They oversaw a lot of the street lighting projects and building maintenance as well, traffic signal knockdowns and things like that. Very valuable employees. Gary had over 15 years of service and Jim Clary had over 18 years of service, and they will be missed, and I appreciate their efforts throughout their career here. So they will be missed. So thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How are we doing, like, I know a lot of people our places are experiencing staff shortages. Are you guys staffed fully, or are you understaffed, or?
Understaffed by about 3 right now as it stands today. After Friday, it'll be 4.
Do we know how that compares to other municipalities?
All surrounding municipalities that I keep in contact with, West Dallas, Greendale, Franklin, they're about the same, John, yeah, yeah.
I just want to say you do an amazing job during the winter with your crew, so thank you
you.
so much. It's
Thank
really, you guys are top of the line.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks,
Hopefully you're hiring soon.
Yes, fingers crossed.
We do have one new staff member starting on Monday, and we have another one that's going through the background and physical portion of the
Great,
process, so that's good.
That's good. Okay.
fantastic.
Okay, thanks. Number 8, engineering report, Mr. Haas.
Yeah, for tonight's engineering report, I don't have too much new to share with you. Our greenfield-specific projects, our road projects and sidewalk addition projects are in the final design phases and will be going out to bid soon. So once we open bids, select a contractor, award the contracts to the contractor, I'll have a little bit more information for you as far as construction schedule is concerned. Most of our projects, we do give the contractors quite a wide window to do the work. Usually from early spring to late fall, they can do the work. So we give them the flexibility to start as their schedule allows. However, once they do start, they have a certain time frame that's different for each project that they have to complete the project in. We found in the past that gives us, results in some better bid prices and some project prices. And lastly, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation may begin their 60th Street Bridge project as soon as February 3rd. That's all
Fantastic.
depending on the weather. They do have some traffic control staged out there currently. They are required to put up portable message signs announcing the closure 7 days in advance of the bridge closure. So expect to maybe see those signs to go up potentially in the next few days, actually.
And the on-ramps will be closed, the off-ramps will be open through the majority of it, but
Correct. The 2 on-ramps to the interstate will be closed for the duration of the project. The 2 off-ramps will be open for right turns only from the ramps. And those off-ramps will be open for the entire project except for approximately 28 to 30-day window. And that will most likely be towards the end of the project. So I would expect late summer or fall for that closure.
How long would this project take again?
Through the fall. Through the fall. I think it's late fall as a
I think
completion
it's
date.
November is what
Yeah, correct.
they're shooting for to get it open before Black Friday.
That is approximately the time frame for the 68th Street Bridge that they completed 2 years ago. That is unfortunately about how long it takes to reconstruct the bridge and the traffic signals on each side of the bridge.
Do we know about approximately how many total closures we're gonna have on the freeway during this? I can't remember how many we had.
Full freeway closures is your question?
Yeah. I know they do them at night and.
they do 'em
I-
at
I know
night.
immediately when they do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So those are announced well in advance. I would expect at least 2 times for potentially more for the
I think it was
for
more
for
for
the
68.
so for the demolition of the bridge, which can be 1 or 2 nights, and then for placing the new girders, which could be another couple nights. So yeah, I would say less than 5 to 10. I know it's not a very good answer for you, but it's
No,
it's all dependent on their. Yeah.
I can't remember, but I can tell you, I knew immediately when they closed it down for
Yeah.
68th Street. It was immediate impact on my home.
Yeah, there will be a lot of traffic diverted to
Layton.
surrounding streets. There will be official detours posted. Those detours are usually posted on county and state highways. There may be some, shorter routes that the local residents might take.
Yes, we know.
Yeah.
I'm hoping there's not a lot of semi-traffic on 51st Street, you know?
No, the semi trucks and heavy truck traffic would follow the posted detours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What are, again, can you just refresh me, what are the city projects we're bidding on?
Sure.
Can't remember.
There's a sidewalk addition project on 43rd Street between Cold Spring Road and the service road south of Cold Spring.
Okay.
We are resurfacing the half of the neighborhood of Mitchell Highlands.
Okay.
So that's the neighborhood north of Morgan Avenue. And then we are resurfacing 3 other neighborhoods, more on the west side of the city. Those would be 103rd Street, south of Oklahoma Avenue, the area of Brookside Drive and Abbott Avenue, around 92nd Street and Forest Home Avenue. And then the other last resurfacing area would be Foxwood Crossing, so about 124th Street and 117th Street. We will also be doing a separate concrete spot panel replacement project on 84th Street between Cold Spring Road and Howard Avenue.
Good.
We will be upgrading the traffic signals, replacing and upgrading the traffic signals at the intersections of 47th and Layton, and then also 60th and Edgerton.
What are we doing at 47 Layton?
We're
Newer?
in newer traffic signals.
They have the
Fern?
thing for the protective services.
Oh,
Does
yeah.
that light have that currently?
Yep.
Because, okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, so the both intersections will be brought up to standards with the correct amount of signal heads, the proper placement of the signal heads.
Are they gonna be like visibility for visually impaired people too? Are they gonna have that
Yeah,
clicking?
Yep.
And are
Correct.
they still gonna be like basically off except for weekdays?
correct. The 47th Street intersection, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that has camera detection and loop detectors in the pavement. So yeah, the county sets that timing of that traffic signal to coincide with school traffic essentially.
Isn't that common, what we are following now, those type of rules that we're doing?
Correct. It's
Okay.
it's safety standards. ADA, curb ramp, pedestrian wise. Yeah, it's all very standardized as far as what the best practice is.
No, that makes sense. With the school there, I mean, there's a lot of traffic at certain times,
Yeah.
but not so much at other times. And
Yeah.
I know having the lights on 51st, I think is good for traffic in and out of the park, even foot traffic. But it does jam up there sometimes.
Yeah. Yep, and the standard for new traffic signals is to have a signal head over each lane now. You may notice that in some of the newer intersections. And also specifically at 60th and Edgerton, the type of poles that are going to be put up to hold the traffic signals, we're able to minimize the amount of poles and get poles out of the small medians, which
Before they get
DPW
taken.
has to react to a lot for knockdowns.
Yeah. So new lights are gonna go up there then also? That was?
Correct, at
okay,
60th
and 47th? Okay.
Correct, yeah. And then, this isn't a city project, but then Milwaukee County will be resurfacing Beloit Road
Okay.
from 124th Street to Wolmer Road, which is just east of Highway 100.
Okay. That'll affect my brother. He lives on Beloit Road, but in New Berlin.
So we definitely have, I'm trying to think if I
And the
forgot
power line
anything.
trail.
And the power line trail. Thanks for reminding me, Jeff.
Oh, that's
The
right.
power line trail from the
Exciting.
Oak Leaf Trail to 60th Street.
That's on schedule, power line?
Correct, yes.
It might be starting that when?
This spring, we haven't opened bids yet, so we don't have a contractor yet. So again, they have a little bit of flexibility to begin, but potentially as early as April or May.
Okay.
So-
I have a question, or I just wanted to make a statement with regards to Layton Avenue, and I have a question. Everybody that was involved in that did a fantastic job, and I have talked to them a couple of times. Really, they got so much done. It was great. And the question that I have, I know there's going to be some more finishing touches that they have to work on in spring. When is that going to be?
Yeah, that is
know?
that is completely weather dependent.
Okay,
Um,
we don't have any, what
no,
month or anything yet?
No, unfortunately, we don't. If we have a light early spring where it dries up, the snow melts early. We've had contractors begin as early as late March, but we've also started
Yeah.
projects in late March and then get a foot snowfall in April.
April.
So we just don't know. They did
Okay.
continue their work later in the year than was originally planned, and they were able to complete a lot of the work
Yes.
that they were originally planning to do this upcoming spring.
I can tell you, I've gotten calls from people
Yeah.
that don't even live in Greenfield anymore, but have called to say how awesome Layton Avenue looks.
It was much needed, yeah.
It was so needed, and
Yes.
it's such an improvement. It's a little freaky driving down there, though, with nothing, all those houses gone, and seeing the freeway, but, no, I've gotten lots of people they were ecstatic when it opened, but, they
Yes.
were happy with what they saw when it
Yeah,
opened.
Milwaukee County did do a great job.
They
The
really
the
did.
contractor that they had for the project was a very good contractor. We also had that contractor last year on one of our projects, and they did a very good job as well. And honestly, this was a very good joint project, actually, between the county and us at Greenfield, because we actually designed the streetlights, and they installed the bases for us as part of their project, and then DPW actually installed the poles and the lights along that stretch.
How do we think the 43rd Street is doing with forcing them at the right turn? I mean, they obviously can't make left turns anymore, but I haven't seen a lot of it, but it seems like it's working out.
We haven't had any feedback on that,
I've had a few
positive or
people
negative.
yell that they're not, they're like, I can't turn left. I'm like, oh, far, but
Yeah.
it's nice to have the turn lanes finally there. That definitely
Mm-hmm.
adds to it.
Yeah.
I know the businesses are happy it's open too.
It was always sort of a problem there on going north on 43rd.
Yes.
When you got to Layton there, to try to get across
Yes.
back in the day. Okay, thanks, Mr. Oz. Any other, item number 9, other topics for future agendas? Anybody got anything? Okay. All right, a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Made it?
Me.
Oh, okay. Motion to adjourn
Number
by
2.
Pam, seconded by Denise. All those in favor say aye.
Aye, aye.
Motion's carried. We are adjourned. Thanks for
Everyone-
coming out on a cold night.
Everyone stay warm, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad everybody came out on a cold night. That was nice of you guys.
Keep heating.
10:30 tonight, he's famous.
Okay,
What's 10:30 tonight?
he's on the show.
Yes.
You turn Fox
Fox on.
10:30, I'll be on a show called You Bet Your Life with Jay Leno.
Oh, wow.
So if you're up late,
Gotta see him.
You're gonna be on it?
Yes.
Oh,
He
that's,
already-
watch me compete trivia.
And he wouldn't tell me anything what
I
happened
could, and
beforehand.
I signed a do not disclose, so.
wow, that's
Let
sort
it
of neat.
go,
How did you
it's
get on
fine.
it?
What if you wrote something down and somebody looked
I-
over at
I
your
sent in a
shoulder?
form, because there was commercials about trying to be on the show, and I had my son in my lap, and